Welcome to my Timberborn settlement. I don't know if I've ever made a video about this game, but I've been playing it on and off for years now. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun, and they are still bringing out really good updates for it. I think this one might still be on the experimental branch. I'm not entirely sure. I just booted it up, the stuff was here, and I decided to use it. So yeah, today I just wanted to show you guys what I built here because I'm really happy with it and just wanted to show it off. For those who don't know the game, it's basically a settlement building simulation based on beavers with water physics, droughts, and all of that, and also a lot of focus on stackable buildings so you can build things on top of one another. It's really cool and for me the most fun aspect of the game. And yeah, basically it boils down to being something akin to Anno but without any combat. So yeah, let's take a look around here and let's see what's going on here. We are going to start right here at the housing district. So this is where all my beavers go to sleep at night. And yeah, it's just a really simple thing at the core of it. We have a lower set of houses down here, basically with another set built almost on top of them. Actually, I think the floor of the path in front of the upper houses is the roof of the lower houses. The slanted roofs over here are things that I built on top of that myself. So yeah, there's a lot of modularity to the things in this game. Also, I decided to have a little storage shack here for every single food item that I have. Some of the things I just don't have any farms for yet. I don't really care about filling up everything. Might do it anyhow at some point. But yeah, these are basically just to get some food stored up here. So anytime any one of the beavers is hungry, this is where they can get whatever they want. There are larger storages somewhere else closer to the production site, so that should keep things stocked up. And also sometimes things go empty here, but there are haulers that should be refilling it. This one wasn't even fully set up. I could also just very quickly add it so that this is prioritized by haulers, but I think at this point I'm almost prioritizing every single building, so might not be that useful anymore. But yeah, here we go, got all of those set up, so they should be refilling with priority at some point. Likely tomorrow because the beavers don't work at night. I got the regular 16-hour work day. 16 hours is regular for the game. Could likely reduce it at this point, but I don't really care. Right next to the housing district we have our little fun area. So we have a dancing hall, we have carousels. They are permanently on and take a lot of power, so I decided to only have one on right now because this thing apparently doesn't really go full either, so don't really need two of them running all the time. Got some mud baths and other things around here, so this is all just giving them some entertainment value, including some swimming pools. Could maybe add a third one somewhere, but I don't know if it's necessary. But yeah, from this point on we can go further down the river to my industrial district. And also my massive gravity battery. The thing is, I like building stupidly complex things in this game. And this is one of them. The map has enough space that I didn't need to stack anything, but I decided to do it anyways. I just wanted the entire industrial district, or at least most of it, to be on top of the river. Because basically everything around the river is prime real estate for farms and that kind of thing. So yeah, we got a few water wheels here as the main power provider. Some of them go directly into the things here. Do I still even need to have these on? I don't... No. Don't really. So let me just turn those off real quick. I don't really need all of that to be active if storage for the stuff is full. So these are plank makers, but I don't really need any planks anymore. Storage is pretty much full on that. For a while there was a rather distinct section here for all the food stuff. So I have bakeries, I have mills, I have grills and that kind of thing. But yeah, at some point it basically merged all together and this is what we have right now. But yeah, direct access to the different farms over here, which are also providing things like sunflower seeds, carrots, wheat, potatoes, and I think that's everything here. I might eventually make an aquatic thing, but right now that's really not on the table. Might be something to put into this area, I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, this is all for the industrial district over here. Everything right now is moving rather slowly because currently there's a bed tide going on, so it's running with a very low water current. Meaning that my gravity batteries are actually going down quite a lot, but due to how many I have, this shouldn't really be a problem. So basically these are here to store power. If they get some power out of the network, they will lift up these weights over here. And if more power is needed in the network, the weights are going to lower and that's going to generate the power again. I also turned off all of my windmills over here because they feel a bit cheaty. With only 7 of them right here, I can basically get rid of battery. I would only need like 2 or 3 of them in order to compensate for these things being a bit unreliable. But I kind of like needing these, and therefore the windmills are off right now. And I'm relying on the water power, which is going to be much more once everything is fully flowing again. And yeah, to make this as efficient as it can be, anywhere where I don't have a water wheel, I'm basically trying to fill up the gaps with levees over here, so that the water is not going to flow through there. It's gonna have to go through one of the water wheel blades. And the same thing is happening inside the industry. Let me just lower down the layers a bit. We should be able to see the stuff in a bit more detail in a moment. But yeah, here you can see we have the water wheels, and while I needed some stuff to be free, and sometimes I also just had to put down some shafts into the water. For the most part, everywhere where I don't want the water to flow through, I just blocked it all off, which really helps increase the efficiency of the wheels. So this is all going quite well right now. Okay, let me just reset all of that. And yeah, from here we can take a quick look around the mountain. I'll get to the dams over here later. This is part of my main water supply. But let's first go further down this end. Initially, I let the water go out this direction, but this doesn't really have any benefit. On this side, however, I at least can green up the scenery a bit. I don't really have any plans to do anything with this entire area. It's more for the looks right now. And the good looks are basically ending right here because this is my bad water dumping area. In a regular season, this is actually looking quite nice because this is actually self-cleaning and eventually there will be water in this area. But right now, since I'm dumping in all the bad water from Helix Mountain, we can see the stuff up here. Yeah, it's not looking too good right now. So I think it's now time to finally talk about Helix Mountain itself, because that has been completely gutted. Initially, when I started this playthrough, there was a long river coming in from the center, going around like 2 or 3 times over here and eventually going in this direction. And for the longest time, I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to turn this into an excavation project, but in the end, I just had to do it. So I completely removed all the ground in the middle, put it all into one level, and this is now just a massive water reservoir. And yeah, there's also this thing in the very center. So this is where you get the water from. The water sources are down here in this weird looking soup. Right now, of course, they are spilling out bad water. And in order to not contaminate my entire water supply here, I made this aqueduct. So there are some sluice gates in here, which open as long as there is some contamination. So right now, these would be closing if there is less than 1% contamination in here, meaning that right now all the dirty water goes right through this side and gets dumped into this hole. Basically, I destroyed the entire side of the mountain here, put down some platforms down below, and then renaturalized the entire thing to make it look a bit more decent. Also, I have an overflow dumping area right here. So if too much water is in the reservoir and it for some reason is about to overflow, I can open up this thing. Usually overflowing only happens if I mess up something. So on its own it should be much more stable and not require me to go to this end. But yeah, the water goes through here, gets through the grate and comes back out this side. So let me just stop the flow. But this is also how I can get a bit more water dumped into this part if I need to. Might be nice for cleaning up after the bad tide has ended. And yeah, initially I didn't even have a roof on this whole aqueduct over here. But the thing is, I'm usually letting this entire thing top off with water, so it's really filled to the brim up to the build limit over here. And yeah, if there's water up until this point, and when the bad tide starts and the sluice gates over here start opening, everything in here gets dumped out this direction incredibly quick and usually overflows. So in order to prevent this, I just decided to just put a roof on. So it's all now a bit more contained instead of contaminating everything else here. I also got some sluice gates at the front, which are more for manually handling things. So usually my plan, and this is really more of a play thing, I can let this fill up, let the water flow out on the top here, and it's basically all going by itself. If I really want access to the water a bit quicker, then I can manually open up the sluice gates over here. Usually I have the middle one desynchronized with everything adjacent. These ones are usually on auto. So as long as there's only less than 3% contamination, then it's going to be open. These 4 should be all the same now. And 4 of them basically deal with the output from this thing really well. The other 4 are more like a backup in case I want to quickly dump anything. I could maybe make this like 3 that are automatically open and 1 as a divider, and the other 4 would be usually closed. That might help a bit, so that even if these are open, I should still get a bit of water rising in here. But yeah, right now it's going to have to wait until the end of the bad water season, and then everything else you can start revving up again. And yeah, I also built my little earth recultivator in here, which is, by the scale of this game, a massive building. It just happens to pale compared to the other thing that I built behind it. I mean, this is a monument. But yeah, the most interesting thing here, which I really want to talk about, is to do with these dams over here. We have basically 3 steps in the dam, which are keeping my settlement supplied, but also keeping it from just overflowing. And I made it so that theoretically I could leave this run automatically. Right now there are 3 different modes to every single step in the dams that I have here. So the first mode is low capacity automatic, which is what we have basically right here. There are 2 sluice gates on top of each other. The lower one will always only open if there's not enough water in here, just to keep everything supplied. It wouldn't really help with everything downstream from here because there's another step in the water, so yeah, the sluice gate down below will not open up to the point where it will start overflowing through here. It will only ever keep the top topped off. The one on top here, however, this is something that I just take care of myself. So right now I got it open. I can also close it if I want to, but this thing is really helpful to keep a slow but steady stream through the entire settlement. So you can see the water is all flowing, but very slowly, because this is the thing limiting how much water is going through here. And if you want to know, the entry point for the water is in the back here. There is a bit of a tunnel going through. So the water comes in that side, drops down here, and gets delivered to the sluice gates over here. The thing is, every single dam section has 3 different sections in here. A sluice gate, then a double or triple floodgate set to a certain height, and then another set of floodgates that is just fully up right now. And the same is going on with this one, and also the last set of dams over here. And yeah, currently in automatic mode with low water levels. The sluice gates are just gonna be open and be taking care of this thing. Since there's constantly water flowing through here, these ones that are also set up to just keep this area topped off. For the most part they should be open, but sometimes they close because, well, if they let a lot of water through, since these are 3 sluice gates in comparison to the one that's open right here, it's just gonna let a lot of water through at one point and top off the entire thing, close, and then wait until the water has left the area again and then open back up again. Apparently it's more close than open, which, yeah, makes sense. I got this wrong a moment ago. Yeah, now it's open, now it's letting more water flow through, but in the end, the water that's flowing through this area is always gonna be the same amount, the same speed going through this one right here. So it's a really slow trickle down effect. And the same thing is true for this one. We got another even larger set of sluice gates over here. But as long as there's only a small amount of water streaming down from here, this one is also gonna be mostly closed and just occasionally topping off the entire thing. So this is how I keep my entire settlement running if I need to through a longer drought. So there's always gonna be a bit of water flowing. If I'm, for some reason, running out of water in the reservoir, I could just close this thing down and everything else is gonna stop flowing now. This should be topping off right now, at which point these are going to close, and this is also topped off to the level that the levees are looking at, so this is also done now, so no more water is flowing. That's really mode number 1. Mode number 2, and that's requiring the water sources to make regular water again and fill up the entire reservoir. That would be the overflow mode. Meaning that as soon as the water rises to the point of the floodgates over here, which are only a tiny bit open, at that point they will spill out the water over here, meaning that much more water is going to enter the area when it would be leaving through the automatic mode over here. And eventually this thing will fill up to this point over here, and water will spill out over here, filling up this area, and eventually we are going to get however much water is produced over here, flowing through the entire thing, and that's also where I get the full power from my water wheels. But yeah, that's going to take a while to fill up this massive area again. Needs to be almost up to this point, so there's a bit of water missing right now. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. And also, thirdly, but not, third and lastly, but not leastly, whatever. Last but not least, we have the other set of floodgates, which is usually set to be topped off. This is the one that I'm actually using myself. The other ones could really be replaced by levees and dams to just keep a certain level. I don't really want to touch them anymore. But the other ones, I can just open if I want to. So this is now draining out water from here, meaning that the sluice gates are going to stay open now because the water is just leaving faster than they can let it through. So this now also accelerates my flow rate through here, meaning that these should be open much longer, and honestly maybe I should have gone for a few more sluice gates in here to make this work out a bit better. But yeah, if I want more water, this is how I can get it. And now we can also see the entrance point through here a bit better. These are the sluice gates down there, so yeah, that's how all of that works. But yeah, this is just the other major mode. I sometimes used it at the beginning of the game, before I had all the sluice gates in place, just to keep my industrial district running a bit better during the droughts. Otherwise, it just was standing around, nothing could be done for too long, and that was really all that amazing. Also, we are getting a bit of flood now because the water sometimes, if you start putting out a lot of water through an area, the game it kind of needs to adjust to it again. But yeah, everything should be drying up pretty soon, so yeah, everything is back down in the canals. Also, for a lot of my irrigation, I just used this simple trick. Just bombing out all the paths that I had, so that I have an irrigation canal below the path, and then I just put a platform and the whole path thing on top of it. I have the same thing going on top here, only that the top layer is getting the water from here. Then there's a dam here to stop the water from flowing down through here, and this canal down here is actually a whole separate thing. But yeah, it's working out pretty nicely. Let me just make the game run a bit faster, and then we might also see the end of the Badwater tide over here. But yeah, this is really the majority of what I've been up to with this game right now. It's kind of fun. I really liked the solution that I had to my irrigation problems over here, and the slow but steady stream really helped out in a major way. Makes everything take a bit longer to fill up, but once again that's also down to just how massive the entire area is. But in the end, it's all working pretty much flawlessly at this point. I got a separate irrigation channel over here, basically just powered by a pump that's getting the water into another separate irrigation canal, and basically down below here we have some let me show you guys if I can. We have a sluice gate down here. Doesn't really even need to care about contamination, because this should never be contaminated. It's just there that if there's water on this side, these should be filling up and keeping the same water level. if for some reason this dries out, then the water shouldn't be backflowing. That's the entire idea here. So that's working out pretty well. The contaminated water is flowing out. We can see that the color has already gotten a bit better. So maybe in a day or two the contaminated water will be all gone, and then we should be getting clean water again that can go back into the reservoir. But yeah, it's just gonna take a while. In the meantime, this is also slowly going to clear out now that we have a bit of clean water coming through, or more like mixed water. Still better than if it's all contaminated, but we're gonna have to see how this one goes in the end, how long it's gonna take. I was thinking if I ever really want to expand into this area, I would likely just keep this thing going over top and right off the edge of the map. But yeah, as it is right now, this is more of a dumping ground than anything else. But yeah, now we only have slightly contaminated water, so that's going right into the reservoir. Not the biggest fan of that, but that's diluted into nothingness at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm not keeping 100% bad water flowing in here for days, I should be good. But yeah, I think that's about everything. I could maybe talk a bit about the zip lines, but they are more something that I spontaneously added a bit later down the line here. I wasn't too sure about them in the beginning, but they are really helpful because beavers can travel along them quite a bit faster, and that also just makes everything run a bit more efficiently. Especially since I'm not the biggest fan of districts. I've been around for this game to see I've been around with this game to see a few changes to districts, but I've kind of stopped trying using them. Especially since we can now just make our one district that will always have go as far as we want to. It would be more efficient to separate things out, but I don't know. I'm never too sure if I should try relying on trading between districts or if every single one should be its own fully separate colony that is self-sufficient. I definitely ran into issues before where um, a district relying on trade from others, so getting all the food or the water and all of that from another district. Sometimes the deliveries weren't made and those people were suffering greatly, so yeah, I don't know. Don't know if it works better right now, I just stopped trying at some point. But yeah, right now the reservoir is filling back up. It's gonna take another while until it really reaches the top. But from that point on, we should be going into overflow mode, and then we are going to get all the water through here. I don't know if it's worth waiting for that, because that can really take a long time, but I guess I could also just go with manual mode for now. So instead of waiting for these floodgates to see the water reach their level, I just go to these, open these up, and this is how I can get the water in faster. So this should really be filling up rather quickly, since there isn't that much space in this area. For this one I left the riverbed basically what it was from the beginning. Propped up the walls here and there, but yeah, I didn't bother just excavating down over here. Especially the first layer that you do is really tough, because once you get everything to one level, it's easy to lay out more TNT and go deeper. But getting everything onto the same level to begin with, that's a challenge. But yeah, here we go. Water is rising, and it should be going over the floodgates in a moment. At least it looked like it would be in a moment. Now it happens, and you can also see that now everything else is rising. And yeah, the floodgates at this point, or the sluice gates, I mean, they are closed. But now the water is flowing down from here, through here and here. Meaning that everything is getting flooded again. Which should be clearing out in a moment. I could also maybe lower down this a bit more. Just as a slight overflow. I don't really want water to go down here all the time, but I don't know, this should be at 1.5 level or so. So eventually this should even out. I would really like the water to stop flowing right about now, so maybe this needs to be a bit higher. 2.7 seems to be doing the trick. But yeah, now all the water wheels should be fully engaged, or at least mostly. Again, it takes a while for everything to even out and get into a more laminar flow. And hopefully my gravity batteries are now also filling up again. Yep. So these should be rising up, and hopefully before the next route I should have everything up, have it up and running again, be prepared for it. Basically, in terms of water and food, there's really nothing to worry about anymore. I could have also gone for bots, golems, or whatever they are called right now. Let me just check. Yeah, the bots right here. I decided to not do that right now for this playthrough. I didn't really feel it. They don't really give me any advantage at this point. So for this one, I'll just have manual labor from my beavers. It would be pretty easy to set up the other stuff and sort that out, but maybe at some point. I didn't really feel the need, and everything that I have here is working well enough now. And yeah, this area is also slowly clearing out. Gonna need a lot more water to flow down the river in order to deal with everything here, but yeah, at least it's not fully contaminated anymore. I could also just little bit of water come down over here, just to try and help this a bit further. Not really the smartest thing. I should really just let my my reservoir fill up, but I don't know. It's a bit of fun playing around with this stuff, otherwise it gets a bit boring if I just let it run in auto mode. Even though I kinda set it up to do exactly that. But yeah, it's fun that I still need to do a bit of interaction with this stuff. But yeah, in the end, this auto mode over here, this is really a life changer for how the entire thing works. Makes everything so much more convenient. But yeah, with that being said, I think we are at the end of the tour here. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and until next time. I have another save that I've been working on with the other faction in this game. Might be showing that at some point, but it's actually more work than what we have right here, so that might take a while. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, have a good one, and bye bye.